Hey everybody, Dr. Legrand here. If you are new here, I am Dr. Legrand and I actually have ADHD and dyslexia, and I specialize in helping adults with ADHD and helping optimize their brain. I did that for myself, and now I do help adults with ADHD and focus issues. So today we're going to be talking about specifically on how to really, to live ADHD symptom free. And before I do, I just need to share my screen here. There we go. So before I dive into this, the important thing when you want to live a life of ADHD symptom free, more of a natural way, what I always stress is it does really require doing extreme investigative work of understanding how your body chemistry works. What are the imbalances that are going on in your body chemistry that we need to understand of why you're experiencing focus issues, lack of motivation or drive, low energy, stress, anxiety, depression, whatever it might be. It's really important to really understand what is going on. And some of the big things to keep in note, whether you're taking medications and you're trying to look for a different alternative to help improve what you're already doing right now, or maybe you're not looking to want to have to do medications. But the thing that I understand is there's three major pathways. You got the dopamine pathway, you have the serotonin pathway, and then you have the GABA pathway. And so all three of these pathways are really important for changing the brain chemistry, how we think, how we feel, our mood, our stress, our energy, our sleep. I mean, it does a lot. And it would be important to know where you're at for you as an individual. So what I do when people come to see me is running some tests to see, okay, what are some different neurotransmitters that could be out of balance? What are some amino acids that specifically build those specific different neurotransmitters? More importantly, for I know a lot of people talk about dopamine when it comes to ADHD, but it's not always a dopamine problem. And so first off, the first case that I want to talk about is on the situation when we look at different specific amino acids and neurotransmitters that could be possibly out of balance in your body chemistry. So like this patient of mine that I had, he had low tyrosine levels, which is a very important amino acid in the dopamine pathway. But yes, he also had low dopamine levels, which of course, how he's going to feel is going to have lack of motivation, drive, and focus. And, when you can identify specifically, okay, is this the issue? Then you know what type of amino acids to incorporate to use something more natural, using food-based things versus just a medication. And so when we see this, something like Dopa Boost is a very good one to look at because it has like an L-acetyltyrosine. Now, this is not a sponsor video, and I'm not connected to any of these companies. These are just supplements that I specifically like using because they're doing the job when I do lab testing. And then on top of that, looking at mecanoperines, which specifically does help build L-Dopa, has L-Dopa in it, which directly is going to help improve dopamine levels. And so that is very important to look at when we're considering when it comes to imbalances and what we're incorporating. And so you definitely want to target and choose the right supplements if you want to go more of a natural way that are going to address what you're deficient in. And on top of that, there's other things to also consider within the neurotransmitters. What if it isn't a dopamine problem like this person was? Like dopamine levels are fine, medications were actually not really quite working for them. But what was a problem was their phenylethylamine levels, which is an excitatory neurotransmitter. And that is the very beginning of the whole dopamine pathway. And so wouldn't you think it's important to address this and not address the dopamine, because clearly there's no issue with this person on that one. But when you have low levels of PEA, it still can impact your motivation, your drive, and focus. So just supplementing something like D-L-phenylalanine, or you could directly also supplement PEA. And when we do something like that, like this patient, made a drastic improvement, not only in his focus, but also helped a lot with also his memory too, especially when it came to short-term memory. So this is why it's so vital to look at things that doing lab testing to see what could be possibly out of balance. Now, another scenario here is looking at further down of other possible neurotransmitters that could be out of balance, like this person, where his norepinephrine, epinephrine, and serotonin levels were extremely low. And when we see that, it's very important that these can also impact stress. and also your mood, especially when it comes to serotonin. It also can impact motivation, especially with serotonin. So things to incorporate to consider is like obviously L-tryptophan and 5-HTP really do help a lot with the serotonin pathway right here, because 5-HTP directly does help build serotonin. So adding something like that, or even tryptophan, which is a little bit up further, can definitely help with mood. It can help with sleep, impact that, and improve those levels. But even L-theanine is really great because L-theanine has known to cross the blood-brain barrier, can help both serotonin, norepinephrine, and also even dopamine. But look at this case. So this was an interesting case that I had that I don't see this too often, where I see every single one low. It doesn't happen too often. We see some that are low, some that are high. But with this patient, they were all over the place. They had depression, anxiety. They couldn't get sleep. They couldn't focus. They didn't have any motivation or drive, and very low energy. And it made a lot of sense when we ran this test. Like, okay, well, no, duh. You're clearly low on every different type of amino acid that helps build these different neurotransmitters, and you're low on these different neurotransmitters. And so there's a lot of things that we have to incorporate here. Things that I've already suggested before: dopa boost, D-L-phenylalanine, L-theanine. Those are specifically going to help really kind of target the dopamine pathway specifically. And then looking at taking 5-HTP and L-tryptophan, which is going to help a lot with the serotonin pathway. And then there's certain amino acids that he's also deficient in, like the glutamate and also glycine. So you add L-glutamine and glycine powder because those are very vital amino acids for helping all the different neurotransmitter pathways. So does this make sense? Go ahead and put in the chat if this makes sense to you, because it really does require, instead of just taking random bunch of different supplements and hoping for the best, when you actually can do some lab work and identify what are the imbalance are, then you know specifically what to take for you that's going to actually give you results and actually becomes ADHD symptom free more of it in a natural way. Okay. The last thing here too is just L-histidine. Histamine is actually really important when it comes to building and modulating neurotransmitters. It's a driver. So this person was low, and that's also really important to incorporate. But it isn't just all supplements here. So I know a lot of you guys come here because I talk a lot about supplements, but I would say supplements is just a stepping stone. It's just something to get things going, to change things in the biochemistry. But the long-term solution needs to always be nutrition, food, the right nutrients and foods, as well as lifestyle changes. That is going to serve you in the long run, and it takes time for people to make those adjustments. But when you can identify what amino acids are imbalanced, you need to put a higher focus on proteins, healthy proteins, fats, and vegetables that are going to, and especially when you can identify, which I'm going to get here into a second, is certain possibility micronutrient deficiencies that you need to put a higher emphasis in those particular foods. And when you can identify that, that does help a lot drastically. So another thing is, so yeah, I was just talking about, like, looking at micronutrients. And this is very common to see with people with ADHD, that they're going to be more deficient than the average person being micronutrient deficient. So just like this patient here, they had low vitamin B3 levels, vitamin B5, and low vitamin D levels, vitamin K1 and K2. So of course, you're going to start incorporating something like B complex, vitamin D3 and K2 and K1 are going to be really important. Now, why is that important? Because the B vitamins are very vital in every step of the process of the neurotransmitter pathway. A lot of them are. And when you're deficient, it's going to make it very difficult to build and modulate all those different neurotransmitters that you need for your ADHD brain, or even just for your mental health, to have better mood, focus, energy, and sleep. Okay. Vitamin D, on the other hand, is also a very important cofactor that we do need tremendously. And also when it's low, it's definitely going to impact your energy and your mood for sure. So this is definitely a good one to always look at, that you can always check as well. Some other ones that, I find, so if you're someone that's 40 or older, I do see this as a problem where, like this patient, your choline levels will be low. So if you suffer with memory issues, especially like short-term memory issues, maybe there might be a deficiency in choline or also serine. I see that kind of creep up. So I'll add something like phosphatidylcholine, like I did with this patient. And as soon as I incorporate this for this person, their short-term memory was right back on track where there wasn't an issue anymore. It's because we identified what was the root cause of his memory issue. And that's because we did lab testing and identified specifically for him, versus just trying random supplements or medications without having any data to know why. Okay. So I already mentioned this one, serine, like this individual was low on serine levels. And, even CoQ10 definitely impacts the energy drastically. So obviously when you see it low, you want to add CoQ10, and that can help improve with energy for sure. And then, sometimes we will see where there's an issue with omegas. So either EPA or DPA, we might want to supplement that if we see that's deficient. And that definitely, when we see that deficient, that definitely impacts your brain health for sure, and can help improve with ADHD symptoms if it is deficient. If you're not deficient in it, you're probably not going to see much difference by supplementing omega-3s, even though it is beneficial for like preventative stuff and longevity, but you're not going to like see drastic improvements on that if you're not deficient in it. But if you are deficient in it, then yes, you could start seeing some big changes. Then the other side of this is sometimes, depending on the individual, when we actually get a chance to look at their medical history to see if we need to test other things, such as like looking at cortisol, looking at some other hormones, if there's a history of a lot of stress going on, or there's some depression going on, or panic attacks. Like we want to kind of see, okay, is there some issues going on with cortisol, which cortisol has everything to do with managing stress and also with your energy levels. And so like with this individual, their cortisol levels were very low in the morning, but then they spiked in the afternoon, and they still stayed high early evening, which kind of impact their sleep too. And so there's a couple things that I had to do here to help improve this. One was adding something like adrenal desiccated to help in the morning to just bring the cortisols up so they had a little bit better energy in the morning. But what happened at night, they would just, or in the middle of the day, they'd be really stressed and couldn't function very well. And so we had to incorporate something like Cortisol Manager and also like rhodiola to help lower the cortisol levels. And what's great about this is because it does have, things like ashwagandha, which also helps lower definitely cortisol, and a few other things in here that helps lower it. That's why I like Cortisol Manager. And I only will do this if it is spiked. You don't want to be taking this if your cortisol levels are low throughout the day. If it is, you're going to get the opposite effect. So this is why it's so important to test, because a lot of times I will see sometimes where it's just low constantly throughout the day, or it might spike like this. But it depends on the time of the day. And so it's really important to really pinpoint this and run testing so that you're not taking something that's going to make things worse, but actually are going to benefit you in the long run. And that's how we're able to help people directly. And then some other hormones, that can be really important too, if it makes sense within someone's medical history, is to look at other hormones, such as like looking at progesterone, estradiol. Just like this patient, they were low. So we had to add some like natural progesterone cream to help improve those. And that's because she was definitely felt, along with her ADHD, very moody. And, her sleep was way off too. And once we added this helped improve her sleep and also mood. And so that was very important. And then on the flip side, sometimes, we will see where testosterone and DHEA will be low, which DHEA helps build both testosterone and also estradiol. So something I will incorporate with that is like Testogain, obviously DHEA, and then Simplex M to help improve testosterone levels. So that is really critical, because that can make such drastic improvements on someone's health for their ADHD to really live a more ADHD symptom free. Because what's happening is a lot of people just think of just the brain, but it's so much more when it comes to ADHD and someone's health, that we have to incorporate looking at all the other organs that are connected that can contribute to making your ADHD symptoms worse. So when we dress it like this, that's when you can live more of an ADHD symptom-free life, the more natural way and approach. Now, another thing to also consider is also your gut health. That is very vital, that you need to address your gut health, because the gut and brain are very interconnected. And so some things that I tend to find with people with ADHD is they have some stomach acidity issues, whether they might have too high stomach acidity or too low, so they're not able to break down the foods. We'll add something like betaine HCl if they don't have enough stomach acidity, or also incorporate pancreatic enzymes. Also very vital. So that way you're breaking down the foods that you're supposed to, so it could feed not only the body, but also the brain. And then also looking if it makes sense to, if there's especially severe history of digestive issues, we might want to look into doing a gut microbiome to see if there's some imbalances in the gut flora, just like this patient, where we had to incorporate different probiotics and prebiotics to make those adjustments. Because a lot of our neurotransmitters, guess what, are made in the gut. 90 to 95% of a lot of neurotransmitters are made in the gut. So you want to make sure that gut flora is working optimally, so that way you're optimally making all the different neurotransmitters that the brain does need throughout the body as well. So, if you are looking for ways to finally actually improve your ADHD, just like Justin here, this testimonial that he left for us, that he said, I'm living a completely different life right now. And that he's able to reduce his depression and anxiety. And he was able to completely come off his ADHD medication. And so that, if that's something that you are suffering with, that's something that we can help you with. Also, another patient client of ours, within 2 weeks, he already felt better in terms of his mood and attention, just starting his new regimen. And then also, Christopher, he was able to really get the benefits without having to be on his Vyvanse and to be able to easily stay focused. And we're just came to see him. And then also Scott, for him, he said he can feel a big difference in that he's just more calm yet the moment, and also just more focused in that his mind wasn't wandering anymore. And also even just like Jetty, for him, he mentioned that the difference is a night and day difference for him, that he had more energy, motivation, focus throughout the day. And then also someone like Eric, for him also, it was a night and day difference, that his life has changed, that he's able to have considerably more energy, and that he was able to not have to rely so much on the caffeine to get him throughout the day. And then also someone like Aaron, when we incorporated, it was just in a few days, he was able to, once we started his treatment, he noticed a large improvement in his focus and concentration, and was able to carry on through task, and that this stuff really works. And then also even someone like Amber, she was able to get on her treatment, and that she has been feeling much better and more focused, emotions, and also better under control. Or also like someone like Shishi, she has better focus, and that a lot of her work is done since starting the program, more energy throughout the day. So if you're someone that would like to get the same type of results like many of our other clients have, I'd love to help you out, because doing this alone, it isn't easy. Trying to figure this out, the body is so complex. And so here's why, you need help to find, the source of your imbalances, your body chemistry imbalances, like we talked about here. And you need more of a customized approach versus like, here, just try this medication, but actually identify what are the imbalances in your body chemistry to begin with. And then you need someone who's going to actually hold you accountable to fall through, and also analyze and adjust those treatment plans so that it fits with your lifestyle, so you'll be consistent with it to have consistent results. And so here's exactly how I can help you. And so my health experts have set aside a time to speak with you personally to help you actually start getting results. And so it's called the Focus Mind Strategy Session. And on this Focus Mindset Strategy Session, we'll put together a specific plan for your situation to help you have a better focus and also excel in your life. And then here's exactly how we'll do this together. The first, we'll cover what's behind your ADHD symptoms, and it's really your blind spot. It's something that you aren't noticing what's wrong, and that's where we kind of look at your medical history to see, okay, what are things that we need to focus on to understand really what's truly the root cause of what's going on with your ADHD symptoms. And then we'll customize a plan that will get you unstuck. And then finally, we'll determine if it makes sense for us to work together more closely. And so what the Focus Mindset Strategy Session, what it does, what it all includes is, it's a 45-minute one-on-one personalized strategy session with one of my health experts. It's a $750 value. But on top of that, as a bonus, when you do purchase for a consultation, you do get access to our nutrition lifestyle tracking app that we use with all our patients and clients to track their symptoms, to track their sleep, their mood, their energy, their food, like all sorts of different things that we use to help establish really good habits. And so that's a $300 value. And then also an additional bonus if you do purchase today is you get access to my ADHD health course. And that is a $597 value. And that is basically it's establishing the right practices and habits and also lifestyle nutrients that you need to implement, and also other things to incorporate to optimizing your ADHD brain. And then, so what's all included, again, it's the 45-minute one-on-one personalized strategy session with one of my health experts, and then access to the nutrition lifestyle tracking app, the bonus, access to the ADHD health course. So it's a total value of $1,647, but you get it all today for just $297. So all you got to do is click on the link in the description below. Once you've clicked on that link, you will then come to this page to purchase. Once you have purchased, this is very important. I can't stress this enough. Once you have purchased, it'll take you to this page. You need to still book your appointment. So you'll click on the book now. You'll pick your date and time. when you want to do your appointment, and then you'll put in your information, fill out the form, make sure you do that. That's very important so we can look at that. And then you'll come to this page. And it's very important that you check your email to make sure you got your confirmation email of your appointment. And then also that you'll get another email to activate your Practice Better account. That is how you get access to the nutrition lifestyle tracking app. That's also when you fill out the questionnaire form if you have not filled it out already. And then if you have any past labs, like standard labs, it isn't a requirement, but just in the past year, not 2 years, but in the past year, you go ahead and upload that so your health expert can look over that before your appointment, so we can determine what would be the best types of labs to implement and also what action plan to put together. And then please do show up early. If you're 10 minutes late, we give people 10-minute grace period. If you're not, then, we're going to mark that as a no-show. And also, I can't stress this enough. If you do have a significant other, it's important that they're there because it helps us to determine what are the outside perspectives of your ADHD situation or your focus issue. So please have them present. So when you're picking a time, definitely keep them in mind that they need to be present there as well. All right. So, if you're wanting to tackle your ADHD and you're really wanting to understand the imbalances in your own body chemistry and get to the root cause of your ADHD situation or your focus issues, then this is the best solution, is booking that consultation. Again, all you got to do is click on the link in the description below to be able to do that. And I hope to see you guys all on the inside. Thanks. Bye.